Hey everyone, Adam here, and today I would like to discuss NoFap with you while I have lunch. So excuse me, I'm going to be eating lunch while we have this conversation. It's vegan. Beets, pasta, beans. But yeah, the reason I want to talk about NoFap is because the internet is a cesspool. As you probably know. There's never been a time in history like we're living in now where men, women, people could access pornography instantaneously, pretty much wherever they are, almost an unlimited amount, right in the palm of their hands. I mean, humanity has never been at this point in history, in recorded history, before. So there's no manual that we can reference back to and say, well, this is what it was like when my grandfathers or grandmothers went through the same thing, because it hasn't happened. So if you think back in history, if your great-great-grandparents wanted to watch porn, or if they wanted to get down in low vibes and lustful and whatnot, they'd have to go to a brothel, go to a strip club, and then their children might have had magazines in their generation, pornography like Playboy, Penthouse, Hustler, and then in the 70s and 80s, we were growing up with VHS tapes of porn into DVDs in the 90s and whatnot. But now, we're at this really weird spot in history that is kind of unprecedented, where at any given moment, most people could access an unlimited amount of pornography to their smartphone in the palm of their hand, any time of day, 24/7. You wake up in the middle of the night, I feel like watching porn. You wake up in the morning, whatever, you want to take a break, I want to go to the bathroom real quick, just look up some porn real quick. So we've never been at this point before. So if you were somebody who found this amazing, like, this is amazing, the best time to be alive, right? You might just think that the world is a candy cane Disneyland right now. So I feel like the only alternative to the reality that men and women are facing right now in this pornography waterfront, this waterfront of pornography, the only alternative to counter it is NoFap. For those of you who don't know what NoFap is, it's not just about semen retention. It's about not consuming pornography. Now, the problem is, because the internet is a cesspool, there's pornography all around us, basically. So, to the best of our ability, people who are NoFap try not to access pornography. So, truth be told, I'll be downloading movies or something, and ads for local singles come up, and sometimes I see some boobs, sometimes I don't. But this is what I'm not intentionally searching for porn on the internet as somebody who practices NoFap. More so than that, when I'm not doing that. I'm not intentionally accessing porn on the internet. And I'm not lying about it either. I'm not making this video about NoFap and secretly being a total piece of crap in my life, where I'm like actively researching porn. My my FBI agent knows this about me. Feel free to look up my Google search history. You'll see that I'm a tinfoil hat wearer. That's all you'll see. So it's more than just not accessing porn. We're at this point in history where we're at this point where it's like we are standing on a precipice that no man, no woman has ever stood on, where like pornography in the palm of your hand, thousands upon thousands of nude images of women and men and animals and whatever variation of deviant behavior that you want to see is accessible in the palm of your hand. That has never happened before in history. So appreciate the situation that we're in. At least assess it honestly and say like, wow, we are in this weird time in history where this has never happened before. And so as saying all that, as somebody who practices nofap, I don't want to give my energy and my attention away to pixels on a screen. And this is the essence of nofap, is to have some self-control and assess the situation properly. Give it the respect it deserves. This is a crazy situation that we're all living in. And just say and make up your mind and use your willpower and say, you know what? I'm going to practice nofap. I am not going to access porn intentionally. I'm not going out to search for porn. And if I stumble upon it, and especially, if I was still doing it, I'm not masturbating and giving my semen away to pixels on a screen. Like, it's not real. It's pixels on a screen. The pixels are real. The phone is real. But, like, these simulated acts that you're doing are obviously not real, but your brain and your hormones don't know the difference. And this is why it's so important to practice nofap, because it's the only alternative. It's the only, like, if we live in a universe of opposing contrasts or contrasting opposites or juxtapositions between bipolarities, then we have to admit that we're at this weird spot over here, and I feel like the only way to counter it is to go nofap. And my advice, I have 2 boys, my advice to them as they're going to be going through puberty is going to be exactly what I'm saying. I'm going to have to teach them about all this stuff, and I'm not looking forward to it. I kind of start the conversation now, but going through puberty during a time like we're in now is crazy. When I was going through puberty, honestly, we had Playboy magazines and we had VHS tapes. That was the coolest thing there was no concept of like unlimited porn as much as you want. And so we have to assess the situation properly, give it the respect it deserves, and admit that addiction to pornography is a real thing that ruins relationships. People involved in the porn industry are usually some of the most depressed, unhappy people. And this industry as a whole just destroys lives. And it is actually, in the military, it's used as a literal weapon to destroy your opponent first, demoralize them. In Islamic cultures, they send in, and in Jewish cultures, they'll actually use porn as a weapon. And I'm not even joking. Look that up. So assessing the situation, we have to treat it like crack, like drugs, like heroin. Like, this is something pornography, especially commercialized pornography, is something that you want to avoid. NoFap says, okay, I'm not going to give my energy away to pixels on a screen. I'm not going to be accessing pornography to look it up. And then when I look it up, and if I look it up, I'm not going to be jerking off to it, basically, or masturbating to it. So that is what NoFap is in essence. So I want to tell my boys as they get older, if you are interested in this type of thing where you want to have whatever it is that you're looking up online, create it in your life. So for the example of a man who wants to have attractive women fawning over him, create a life that you could have that in the real world. And then once you've experienced it in the real world, you might realize this is not something that I want. I want a deeper relationship with someone. If you are the type of guy who is like a bachelor and you're like, I just want to have different girls every day, do it. Do it in the real world, though. Like, what you're doing with pixels on a screen is not real. Like, get into a relationship with a consensual relationship with other adults. And there's lots of adults out there who consensually want to have one night stands endlessly. I'm not like that. If you are the type of guy or woman or man who wants to be involved in threesomes, don't fantasize about it with pornography and give your energy away to pixels on the screen. Create that threesome, bro! What's happening is it's turning these younger men and younger women into antisocial individuals who don't really know how to interact with the opposite sex or the same sex. And so, appreciate the situation that we're in 2022, and join NoFap with me. Join the NoFap movement. It's not that I don't have sex. It's not that I don't ejaculate, but when I do, it's with my partner. And I'm rewiring my brain when I'm doing that, I'm rewiring my brain that this is a woman who is real. I'm giving her my energy in a consensual relationship. You know what I mean? And we have to rewire our brains. And it's not like, if you go NoFap, people count days. I'm like years into NoFap, so I'm not 30 days. I don't got 30 days of NoFap behind my belt. I've got years under my belt of NoFap. So good for you if you start the NoFap journey. But it's not like at the 30-day mark it suddenly gets easier. I'm talking about rewiring your brain and changing your entire life. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about you want to stop watching porn. Like, that's a good start. I'm talking about like rewiring your brain, because we have to assess the situation properly. That we are saturated with pornography, saturated with in this culture, in the Western culture, with this deviant behavior. It's all over mainstream media. And we have to just assess the situation properly and say, like, I don't want to slip into the metaverse and fall in love with the digital avatar. I'm not going to give my energy away to pixels on a screen. I want to create the life that I want in the third dimensional world, in this real world. Not that the pixels aren't real, but that it's unhealthy to give all your energy away and your essence and your semen and whatnot to pixels on a screen. It's not real. It's fantasy. It's simulation. So join me and the many men who are in this NoFap movement. Join us. We need you. And teach others. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Follow me on Twitter at adamjosh.com. Share this video with your friends and your men friends. Your man friends?